All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Monday afternoon, I guess. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, in the name of Yeshua, the Messiah. I do pray everybody is very blessed in multiple ways if you're watching and or listening to this stream, as Bitcoin, as the title of the video says. Actually, what does the title of the video say? Massive Bitcoin signal confirmed! Live crypto trading, baby, here we go! Bitcoin coming down to the wire right now to a very important area. We just had a very important monthly close and a weekly close. And you know, I'm getting a little giddy. I'm feeling like I got some fire ants up in my pants because of the Bitcoin price action, which is very exciting and not boring at all. As we come down to the low of the range, we must shout out everybody in the chat. God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. A massive shout out to Darren Does Things, feeling bearish. Huge shout out to Scott Washham, who says, shout out to Ovo Fabio. Shout out to Headshot Nation. Shilling coins in the chat. Shout out to Bald Beard Bear and Space Monkey and Drew. The disclaimer pretty detailed. Why, thank you. Shout out to Mardano, FOMO, the like guys. Yes, if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. Shout out to CH. Can you like a like? Like the video and then like your like. Shout out to Crypto Carnage. Shout out to the bird next door. Shout out to the Enigmantis. Why is no one mentioning the 6-month candle close? Chart looks bullish AF, baby. Man, we're going to be talking about the 6-month candle close because things are starting to turn. Maybe. We might have to get our Pikachu hat. We might have to get our plunger up in here. Because, honestly, you know, look. This is a very, in all seriousness, as this is one of the most serious crypto channels on YouTube. Alright, in all seriousness, this is a very, very important area for Bitcoin. Alright, it's extremely important. And we're going to get into exactly why this is so important. All right, Pink says we need shorts for that squeeze, baby. Crypto Nate B says who shorted and why. All right, shout out to Purafin. He says may God bless you, Jason. May he also bless you. Shout out to Seek Parabolic. Shout out to Clips. How long did it take me to understand crypto trading? A number of years, I guess. I mean, do I even understand it now? Some people might argue. Some people might say, Jason doesn't know a dang thing. Alright, so hey. I guess it's subjective, huh? Shout out to Yuri. Shout out to this person here with a strange name, unpronounceable. Ustrador. And shout out to Space Monkey again and Crypto Hub. Finally got here on time. Ariel Mora. Already liked. Blessed July for you. May the Lord bless your July. Shout out to R Pink. Came from Lifers Live. Shout out to Sam Price. Shout out to Crypto Lifer. Shout out to Crypto Incognito. Shout out to Dermish, who shouts out Dermish himself. Shout out to Dome Life. Shout out to CEO. He says, yo, Casper, what do you think about a short 63.5 to 59? I think, look, if we're going to get a short, guys, if we're going to get a short, then it's going to be from where we're at right now. All right, if there's a massive dump coming for Bitcoin, we have very, very important resistance coming in right where we're at right now. Right, this is gonna be the big make or break moment, and we're gonna be talking about it all exclusively here on the Jason Casper YouTube Flop and Grope Show, baby. And by the way, guys, we also have to shout out Call Sign RX for the super chat. He says 58K was held. Let's go. Longs are in, baby. All right, shout out to Jillian Chaffee. What's going on, bro? God bless you. Shout out to Thorsten. Shout out to the real Fart Supreme. Okay, with the smiley face. All right, yeah. So look, first of all, guys, it is, as you guys all know, July, which means ByBit MEXC is officially now requiring KYC to trade. All right, so if you do want to trade on an exchange that does not require KYC, I'm officially partnered now with BLOFIN. BLOFIN is offering some perks to the Casper crew. All right, good old BLOFIN. they are offering a 15% cash back up to $7,500 futures bonus trade where you can win a Rolex, a chair, a camera, a bag of gold, which is actually just $5,000, a Kawasaki Ninja 650 bike, or you could even win a dang Tesla, all right? And so you can sign up using the link in the description, in the pinned comment, if you're interested. You know, honestly, BLOFIN's a great exchange, guys. I really like the exchange. I have not been trading much on the exchange because, well, I'm trading on other exchanges, but you are going to start to see me in a lot more trades now on BLOFIN and ZOOMEX because, look, I'm a big fan of what crypto originally stood for, which is get the heck out of my business, right? And so KYC is a slap in the face to all us crypto people. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Other than that, still trading on good old MEXC, good old BingX, and all the other exchanges that I'm always trading on, all right? But if anyone's looking for the non-KYC, it's BLOFIN and ZOOMEX right now. And that's about it for now. Links in the description. So, let's discuss the Bitcoin chart, okay? We're going to pull our trade onto here so that we can keep track of what's happening as we're doing analysis here, because we do not want to be well, you know, we don't want any big moves to happen here without us knowing about it, right? We don't want any big moves to happen here without us knowing about it, okay? So, here we go. We've got our trades pulled up so we can keep an eye if things start to tank or pump. So, Bitcoin, guys. What is going on with the Bitcoin? Well, I would say this. Last week was a very important weekly close. Let's go to the monthly chart. The monthly chart, very important. Why so important? Because we have been trading within this range, and there was a really good chance that we were going to close that monthly candle for June below the previous monthly support. So we formed some support in this range on these monthly candles at about $60,637 US dollars. And it looked like, and I thought even maybe, oh no, oh my goodness, are we going to close the monthly candle below that previous monthly support? Very bearish sign. That would have been a very, very bearish sign, right? But you can see that we did get a move back to the upside here, closing the candle above that level. Now, somebody mentioned the 6 month. All right, let's check out the 6 month candle. Somebody says this 6 month candle looks pretty dang healthy. You know, the 6 month candle does look pretty healthy, I do have to say. The 6 month candle, obviously, with a body close much higher above the previous bull market all-time high 6 month candle close. So the 6 month looking pretty nice, but let's come now to the weekly, because I want to talk at the weekly now. Look at this weekly candle as well. The weekly candle has also dipped down and closed quite bullishly. In fact, I would say that is quite a bullish weekly candle. Right here. Again, we were unable to close below this weekly zone of support that we formed here back on the week of May 13th, 2024. So we had a very important area of support here that we did not want to see a weekly or a monthly close below. And so far, we have not seen that close. In fact, it's a pretty bullish looking candle. Now, if we take a look at the weekly, what are we starting to see on the weekly? All right, Market Cipher B. All right, Market Cipher B. What are we starting to see on Market Cipher B? I would say things are looking pretty healthy. Like our good friend Dr. Fauci right here on Market Cipher B. Things starting to look a little bit healthy. All right, things starting to look spicier than a box of jalapeno peppers. This is more exciting than the time me and Carl went to McDonald's in his Maserati to order a Big Mac meal through the drive-thru window. All right? Very, very, very exciting stuff. All right, get back to our trades here. Why so exciting? Well, look at the money flow starting to curve up. Look at the yellow VWAP starting to curve up. Let's go let's go now to our 1 day. Now, last week I was saying this dot on the daily time frame right now is very important. I know, a lot of people out there feeling bearish, and I'm going to get to a bearish scenario as well, but look, we have to just take the chart as it is. And so far, we've had a pretty bullish close on the week as we come down to hold very, very important support And we are printing a signal on the chart that we only print a few times a year. And that is a big Ben Armstrong green dot down here underneath market cipher B. We have a very oversold wave, extremely oversold. Negative 76 on the daily with a Ben Armstrong green dot. All right. When was the last time we saw this? Well, it was August 2023, baby. And when was the last time before? Well, it was March 2023. Let's go ahead and put white lines every time we saw extremely oversold market cipher B on the daily, way below that negative 16 line with a big Ben green dot. All right. Actually, let's even go ahead and put another one here. All right. Let's take a look at the chart and see what has happened every time we get one of these big bends. All right. Now, even in the midst of a bear market, guys, even in the midst of a bear market, when we printed the big Ben, in the midst of the bear market, 31% moved to the upside. In the midst of the bear market, Big Ben prints, 43% moved to the upside. All right. Then when we entered the bull market, we get Big Ben giving us a juicy 57% move to the upside. We get Big Ben right here. Another, bam, 200% move to the upside here. All right, we are currently printing another Big Ben, and these dots are relentless, even in the bear market. And you guys have seen Ben Armstrong in a fight. Dude is relentless. Dude cannot even talk after the fight because he puts everything, literally every ounce of energy and passion he has into the fight. That is exactly what these green dots do as well on market cipher B. Now, here's the thing. We also, if we take a look at the chart here, have something known as a hidden bullish divergence, which is a continuation pattern. So from our last major swing low to our current low, we are forming lower momentum over time, right? Actually, a double drive of hidden bullish div right here, right? We printed one here, got to move up, printing another one here, making a higher low. So far, this is a very important spot for Bitcoin because there is a really good chance that we actually do hold this support here, this range, right? This zone, and get another push to the upside from here. We are starting to see the daily time frames look nice and juicy. All right, things were a little confused for a while there. Like me back in college when I was graduating with a degree in trans non-carbon binary emission gender studies. Things were a little bit confused. But now we're starting to get some more clarity. Right? And honestly, look, things are looking a little healthy as we are watching this price action play out because we are in a macro uptrend. And so this, to me, this weekly and monthly right here, they're very, very important to me, which is why I am long here. And I cannot help but just go based on the historical data that says whether bear or bull market, these big BitBoy green dots, big, voluminous, I can't think of any other words that start with a B right now, bombastic, they do tend to give us a big push to the upside, more than what we've gotten so far. So what does this mean? Well, I'm going to come out on a limb and say, look, I'm leaning more bullish. I'm leaning more bullish than bearish right now for the next few months. I'm leaning more bullish than bearish right now for the next few months. I have to be because of the oscillator being so bottomed out here, being so oversold, and us holding support. Now, when would I change my tune on this? I will change my tune if we close a weekly candle below the range, in which case it becomes much more probable that we do come back down quite a bit here. Why do I say that? Because right now we're looking at the lower time frames and we're saying the lower time frames are starting to paint a bullish picture for us. But we cannot ignore the bearishness still of the higher time frames, having printed the upside down Sam Bankman-Fried man boob pattern on the monthly, right? I mean, look at Sam Bankman-Fried's anatomy. This is on the weekly and the monthly. If we stretch out the chest, that is called a bearish divergence, right? We've got it on the weekly, we've got it on the daily, we even have it on the monthly. Unless we start to see these lower time frames kind of push their way up into these higher time frames, if this is just a dead cat bounce here, then I am forgetting about the bullishness. But as long as the chart is going to give me bullish signals, and as long as the chart is going to hold support, I have to be objective and say This is the bottom of a macro range that we've been trading since February. We've come down to the bottom of a range. We're making a higher low. We have bullish divergences. We're holding support. Money flow's getting thicker. We're in a massive uptrend. And everyone's bearish as heck. All right? I cannot think of a time in Bitcoin history where people were bearish at the top. I cannot think of it. But everyone's bearish. Even you guys are bearish. I see you guys out there giving the video a dang thumbs down because you're bearish. And I'm out here being bullish. You're like, Jason, what an idiot. I'm going to thumbs down your video because you're bullish and I'm bearish. All right? Okay? Now, again, I was really watching for this weekly and monthly close to see what's going to happen, all right? If we do lose it, guys, smooth move up, smooth move all the way back down, all right? And then I will start to change my tune. But until then, I am not gonna ignore this daily. Looking like we get another push up. And here's the thing, even if we get another push up to the top of the range, right? That doesn't mean we're going straight to 100K. It could simply mean we take the short liquidity, and this is a massive, crazy Bart Simpson that has just taken us much longer to play out. In fact, don't get it twisted. If we take out these highs, you know that I'm going to be looking for shorts. You know it. Because look, if we do get that next push to the upside, it could just be another massive drive of bearish div here, right? But we got to let the chart say what it say. And right now she say, what's she say? Hey, what's she say? She say, maybe today, maybe next week, maybe in May. Maybe we get that push up, all right? Okay. So another thing we got to consider here, guys, is the fact that the Bitcoin is also doing something like this. Okay. It's also potentially now forming a massive triangle, which we could see continue on for the summer before a decision is made. It's a little question mark right there. Okay, so that's it. And we are in the long, we're in the short. All right, shout out to the Casper Crew VIP Discord. All right, because we gave that short from 71.4 and the long from over the weekend, looking to come down between those prices of 60,200, coming all the way down to test the potentially maybe 59 as an invalidation. It's currently where we're bouncing from right now. All right. And so far, we are getting a move. Now, we are coming up to the first major important area of resistance for Bitcoin. First major area of resistance is going to be this. Look at this. Pull a fixed range in this zone. And you can see that right now we are flirting with the value area low of this range, which is coming in at $63,000. 63K, very important level, up to, I would say, this daily order block that we have at about 64,250. So right now, this box that I'm going to draw on my chart between 63K, right where we're at, and 64,250, if we can reclaim this box, then I am very convinced that we're going to see a big push back to the top of the range. But if we cannot reclaim this box, this is called a bearish backtest, right? A breakdown from the range, a bearish backtest, and then we could expect another low. So I am watching to see what happens here. I'm really watching and waiting to see how price action develops right now in this range, because this right now is our local range. Are we going to start to see some kind of bullish accumulation pattern here, where we come down and we make a higher low and continue in the range, right? And form a nice kind of rounded bottom here. Are we going to see that? I'm looking for long setups in this zone right now. Looking for that bullish scenario to play out. Are we going to see a liquidity grab of last week's low, where we come down, get everybody super bearish, trap the shorts, just to kind of make this pattern, right? Where we see more bullish divergences and the uneven butt cheek pattern now on the daily time frame, where we have a thick, juicy left cheek followed by a skinny right cheek from squatting and deadlifting with poor form. Right? These are the types of things I'm watching for. As we accumulate in this area, I am looking for those long entries because this is a make it or break it zone, all right? And I would rather be wrong. I would rather take a loss trying to long support with bullish divergences on the chart in a massive uptrend. I would rather be wrong and take a calculated loss than get scared and miss out. All right? That's just my own mentality of it all. I'd rather be wrong and take a loss that I've calculated for using good risk management because these high time frames are bullish than I would missing out on a large move to the top of the range, or potentially, who knows, maybe even a new all-time high on Bitcoin. Who knows, right? You know how quick these things can change, and we also know in bull markets, bearish signs can signify the bottom of consolidation or the end of consolidation, right? Look at this bearishness that we've seen here on the daily, right? Look at the bearishness we've seen here on the daily. The money flow, if we're going to be objective here, is really starting to curve back to the upside, and the daily is very oversold. So this, I am looking at this as a legitimate bottoming point, and I am going to trade that thesis until we close the candles below the levels I've marked out here, in which case I admit I'm wrong. I took my loss. I'm now on to the next trade. All right, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Divine Hood. All right, what do you think, Divine Hood? Are you bearish? Are you bullish? Bearish or bullish? What are you, Divine Hood? You bearish or bullish? Let me know. Shout out to Crypto Nate B. Shout out to Lion in My Pocket. He says, thoughts on the monthly hidden bull div on the ETH Bitcoin pair. The ETH Bitcoin pair has been looking extremely bullish. All right, has been looking extremely bullish. And so I would not be surprised if we see ETH very much so outperform Bitcoin. All right, shout out to AZTV. Would it suck if Bitcoin would stay in a 30 to 60 range forever? Yes, it would suck, but you know what? At the same time, at least, we would have a predictable and easy range to trade. But yeah, that would suck. That would suck because we're used to making all the gains on these bull markets. So maybe that. But hey, 30 to 60K, that's still 100% gain. If we do that every few years, 100% gain. Shout out to Dano Crypto. Shout out to English City. Shout out to Joe Potter. Long and strong baby. Shout out to Dylan. He says, Jay Casper, best trading community ever. Yeah, guys, if you want to join the community where we give the juicy trade setups every single day, we got multiple instructors in there giving you the juice. You can go to jasoncaspertrading.com to join the best trading community in the world. In fact, next Friday, the Casper Crew VIP community is having game day. We will be giving away thousands of USDT, plus free memberships and a whole bunch of other cool stuff at jasoncaspertrading.com if you're interested. Also, if you're just joining the stream now and you're looking for a KYC free exchange, currently over on BLOFIN is where I'm at now, where I will be starting to trade, and they have a really juicy sign-up bonus. 15% cash back, up to 7,000 futures bonus, up until July 28th. And you can win all these cool things: Rolexes, chairs, watches, money, bikes, cars. All right, if you sign up using my link. So yeah, this is it, guys. Down to the dang wire with Bitcoin. Down to the dang wire. Let's see who else is in the chat. Shout out to Brandon. God bless you. Shout out to Hekam from Morocco. Shout out to Crypto Hub again. Shout out to Tesla Man. Shout out to Lasers from Earth. Shout out to Joe Potter. Check out BLOFIN. You can talk about religion on BLOFIN. Shout out to Myrovsky. Nice profile picture there, my friend. Shout out to KG. We'll be really bullish when Mt. Gox is hacked again and those coins are burned. Man, if that happens, that would be really bullish. Why do I have my fixed range settings at 60? Do I? I don't. I have a value area at 70, my friend. That's my fixed range settings right there. All right, shout out to Multi-Sig Dummy. Shout out to Cornet, who says sweaty. I'm super sweaty, guys. I'm sweating it out right now. I'm sweating it out. You know, that's... Everyone needs a walking desk. All right? Any advice for a potential black swan? Look, black swans, the whole point of a black swan is we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when. We don't know how. But the only advice I can have is when a black swan happens... It can only get better from there, right? It can only get better from a black swan. So, if you have capital, and that's the thing, I don't know if anyone has capital. If you have capital on the sidelines, black swan events is a time to be buying stuff. Alright, don't ever sell stuff in a black swan unless you need to sell stuff to buy stuff, right? Unless you need to sell stuff to buy stuff. But, if you have capital on the sidelines and everything starts dumping, you know, you got to think of it as either the whole world's going to end right now, possibility A, and nothing ever comes back, or things are just going to continue on and everything's going to come back, and probably better than ever before. Because black swan events are not black swan events for certain people who orchestrate the black swan events, and so they're ready to buy stuff cheap. So... I'll be honest with you. I feel black swan in my bones coming on. You know, we need something. We need something to push us over the edge into the next big chapter. So, Shushan says it will happen in 2026. Shout out to Stacy. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish. Shout out to Sal Bogats. You're loading up on some Trump with hat bags. Yeah, can't go wrong. LOL to AZTV and Warren Buffett with that quote right there. A little PG-13. So an inverse head and shoulders, says Dano Crypto. Yeah. So this is another thing, right? When we look at these high time frames. Shout out to Dano Crypto, by the way. As we look at the higher time frames. This is a pretty clear inverted head and shoulder pattern here as well, right? And if this does break to the upside, let's just grab a quick little technical target. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm saying this could take us to like a $90,000 Bitcoin, right? Would be pretty crazy. We've seen stuff like this happen before for Bitcoin, okay? We've seen stuff like this happen before. Big moves that pop out of nowhere and catch everybody totally off guard. Shout out to callsign RX. He says, yo, let me know what you think of Tesla. Took a couple of my first options, aiming a little long down the road by December. Alright, we could take a look at Tesla. Alright, shout out to Divine Hood because he says, bro, early this morning, we backtested the reclaimed Coinbase value area low and flipped it to support. All right, that is a very bullish thing. So, on Coinbase, would you look at this? Shout out to Divine Hood. Coinbase volume. Divine Hood is trading using Coinbase volume and not ByBit. And it seems to be the most accurate levels that we have right now for Bitcoin is the Coinbase volume levels. This morning, wow. Look at this, man. This is the key level. On Coinbase, we have flipped key resistance now into support. Look at this. And look at the money flow on the 3 hour. This is the 3 hour. Look at the money flow on the 4 hour. The 1 hour looking nice as well. Shout out to Divine Hood. All right. That's good to know. Shout out to Visionaire. Shout out to Josh Cobreen. Jasmine is looking nice. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Let's remove all this drawing stuff. First of all, let's pull a fib. Low to high, we're bouncing from the 786. Let's take a look at the volume that's traded in this sideways range here. came down to value area low. Now we're above the POC of the range, and you're looking for a move up to around 300 by December. I mean, honestly, let's start on our weekly time frame. We're getting a money flow cross on the weekly. That looks extremely bullish. This was a nice looking bottom. Change of market structure on the weekly. Higher low. Reclaim a value area low. Reclaim a POC. Yeah, it does look pretty bullish to me on the weekly. Let's check out the daily. Daily looking good too. Momentum coming up here. You know, this looks like we could get a big push, honestly. We've just filled that gap right here. So we're reclaiming resistances. And then these highs look like they just want to get taken out, my friend, which would take us right up to around 300. Short squeeze, baby. Now, of course, I don't trade Tesla. Ain't no financial advice. But it just looks really nice, just based on the volume alone. Holding above 195 means I'd say we go for the highs at the top of the range. Now, let's check out Jasmy. All right, let's remove everything. So what was really nice about Jasmy was holding this level, right? Holding this level back in May, April, May for the big push. We all remember it. The problem now is, well, if the pattern's going to continue of holding the support resistance flip, that's where we're at right now. We're holding this support resistance flip right now on Jasmy. So I can see a bullish case here. The back test of resistance now as support. Let's go down to our 12-hour. You know, we've got a nice anchor wave. We got a trigger wave here. You know, the trader in me wants to wait for another move to the downside just to flush the early longs out before the big push. You know, that would give us some bullish divergences. But objectively speaking, we have anchor waves, we have trigger waves here. How's our 4-hour look? Yeah. Another move to the downside just to take out both of these lows would be so juicy, honestly. If we're looking for a setup, a nice setup. You know, we've got ourselves this kind of triangle thing. And you know how these things love to fake out. It would just be so nice to slip below and then come up above with this money flow getting thicker. That would be such a good long signal. Such a good long signal. It's like right now, you know, let's say you're feeling bullish here, anchor wave, trigger wave, all right. You could say, you know what, if Bitcoin gets its bounce, maybe this thing gets its bounce. You know, you got your invalidation under the low. You could shoot back to the highs. You know, a 4-to-1, give or take. That's all fine and dandy. But imagine how juicy it could be if you do something like this, just take the lows, and then you got yourself a really nice entry on the reclaim or something like this. You know, I don't know, that's just the way I think as a trader. Not a traitor, right? I'm not betraying anybody, but a trader. A trader. Now, make sure to smash the like, because we got 800 people in here, only 300 likes. Shout out to J-Boy Bullish and Queefinator. Maybe we need a pump song. I don't know. I think shout out to who said we need a pump song? Oh yeah, Man Bear Pig. You know, if we start to pump like crazy, then maybe we'll get the pump song going as well. All right. Let me see something here. All right, shout out to Ween Man. All right, shout out to Ween Man for the super chat. Shout out to Callsign Orange for both super chats. Shout out to Josh Corbin for the super chat. Shout out to Ween Man. He says, look at Ape. Long from CDW on 4 hour, possible CDW on weekly. All right, let's check out Ape. I see, man. I see. So Ape has gotten a CDW down here. This is the 2-day. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, looks pretty good. I mean, we got bullish divergences forming here as well. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, bull div even on the daily. Money flow coming up. Look, I mean, it's a very easy invalidation where, like, you know where the idea is wrong, right? If we take that low again, then it's wrong. But this could be, I mean, look, if I was a betting man, and I am, I mean, how could you have a very obvious invalidation and back to the top of the range? That's a pretty nice setup right there. And if it keeps on pumping, let's say the bull market's back on in the fall, right? And this is the bottom. This summer's the bottom. This could be a very nice, 700% gain, basically, right? 51 times more reward than risk if we come back up to test the highs of July and August 2022, right? Could be pretty intense, honestly. Pretty intense in a good way. What about gold? I don't really trade gold, so I can't really commentate on it. Can I look at TIA, or is it just considered to be dead at this point? I mean, we could take a look at TIA, all right? We could take a look. Let's take a look. Celestia. I wouldn't consider it dead, but I would consider it a little bit sad right now, right? So let's see, our next major support on the weekly time frame on Binance is going to be right here at $5.43. Let's go to our daily. That's also a really nice level on the daily. I would be interested to see what happens if we get a bounce from here, from this zone, and if we start to change market structure here. I would say we could look for the move back up. So we want to see this level hold, $5.43, a move to the upside to hopefully come up above $7. Once we come up above $7, look for the back test into the golden pocket zone. And then to me, that would be a nice idea here. If you don't want to catch the knife, I mean, I'm kind of a knife catcher, right? So I would honestly look for something like this, like, if we bounce from that level, I would be looking for something like that. I'm a knife catcher. I like to catch the knife. But look, I don't know anything about Celestia fundamentally. I don't know. But I do know this, right? If the bull market's still here, you're buying it cheap, man. Right? You're buying it cheap. I mean, you put a little money in here. I mean, let's say you lose 64%, right? You put $100 in here, and it goes down to $35. All right, $100 to $35, or you put $100 in here, and maybe you're gonna triple it, right? So it's like you're either gonna lose $60 if it goes all the way back down to zero, or you're gonna triple your money. I'd say when stuff is beat down like this, the risk rewards are really nice, right? But if you think crypto's done and it's over, because I've been getting a lot of comments in the YouTube comment section. Us YouTubers getting YouTube comments in the comment section. A lot of people saying, Jason, that's it. This is it for crypto. It's done. It's done. And if you believe crypto's done, then obviously you shouldn't be putting your money in any of this stuff. In fact, you shouldn't even be watching this dang stream, to be honest with you. But I appreciate the view. It's good for the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Get Bitcoin and gold, American freedom. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of gold. Like, I don't do TA on gold, but I've been investing in gold since 2014. So, I've been in gold since before I've been in Bitcoin. And I look at gold as a preservation of purchasing power. That's how I look at gold. Bitcoin, I can't look at it as a preservation of purchasing power. You know, what Bitcoin has done for me is it's multiplied my purchasing power by a lot in a very short period of time. And I don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin. I'd like to think it's going to eventually steady out somewhere, like kind of like gold. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with it. But you know, I do hold a lot of Bitcoin on spot. But I don't look at it as much as a preserver as I look at gold, right? Gold's been around for 5 millennia, at least, as preservation of purchasing power. Bitcoin's been around for 12 years as the fastest growing asset in history of humanity as far as we know. Because there's a lot that we're not privy to. Shout out to my man, the Video Kingdom. Can we check Aleph? Yeah, we could check it. What a strange looking chart, man. What a strange looking chart. Seriously. What is even going on with this thing? Does anybody know what's going on with Aleph? So we had a regular bullish divergence right here. We're currently printing a hidden bullish divergence right here. We haven't really changed market structure at all, but if we're going to look at this as a range, you know, it actually is starting to look kind of nice. You know, we got this whole thing going on, potentially, which could maybe give us that break, you know, maybe give us that break of the resistance. I don't know. But other than that, I can't really do much analysis on it because we don't have much history on it. But the bottom looks nice. Market Cipher B. Let's see, are we coming to like a fib level here? Yeah, so we're bouncing from a fib level. The macro fib pull could be nice. I can't say it's something I would ape into right now, but it definitely doesn't look bearish to me. Things are very bottomed out. We're bouncing from support. We're forming a higher low. We've got multiple drives of divergence. All right, ATFJS, I think crypto's done because long time no giveaway, LOL. Well, that's true. I mean, but look, my channel is kind of dead. Like no joke, my channel's legit dead. Let's check out my channel here. Look at this, man. Let's go to analytics. Channel is legitimately dead. I've let it die. Look at this, subscribers. I'm down right now. 1.4 thousand less than usual. It's crazy, man. You know, I've let it go. You know, I'm not streaming. Crypto's boring. I've been getting too religious. So, subscribers down, views way down. 112,000 views less than usual. 20,000 less watch time than usual. $700 less than usual. Man, wow. That's crazy. Jason, oof. That's crazy. Good old YouTube analytics, man. I'll tell you. You know, I don't even know how do you even I don't even know how to use analytics here. Right? But yeah, you guys can see it. You know, just a few months ago, I was getting like 4,000 or 5,000 subscribers a month. I'm down 90%, man. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. That is crazy, you know? But anyway. Not 90%. But you know what I'm saying. Alright, let's see. Polkadot. Shout out to Josh Corbin. Polkadot. Alright, we can check out Polkadot. We could check out Polkadot and we could check out Spell. Alright? Polkadot and Spell. Actually, the peak of my YouTube views was actually in the very beginning of the year. When Bitcoin was at... January 10th, I had a record subscribers, and I just want to see what was Bitcoin doing in January 10th. Right here, man. Oh wow, yeah. Oh man, I remember that. That was such an epic time. Yeah, I remember this, man. That was so epic, man. Ah, I love Bitcoin. I love price action. I love the memories. All right, Polkadot, look, breakout, coming down to the 786, retest of this area here, bullish divergences on the daily time frame, 4-hour time frame, very nice looking. Polkadot looks bullish to me, all right? If I was looking to start to DCA into Polkadot, this would be the place, all right? Fake out of the head and shoulders, right? Head and shoulder pattern. We've gotten the breakdown of it into the support resistance slip. Now we're starting to get the fake out with bullish divergences. Right? At the very least, maybe we do a double shoulder and then a real breakdown, but it does look nice to me. Now again, here's the thing, guys. Man, even the weekly looks so nice right now on Polkadot. We have 6 more days until we confirm this green dot, but the weekly does look really nice. Look, if Bitcoin starts to dump, all this stuff is dumping. All right? So, if you think the bull market's continuing, these are your chances to buy. But there's a chance the bull market's over. Like, that's the thing. You know, I mean this is just my own way, but if you're not already in your alts and stuff, and you're taking a gamble on it, honestly. Could work out for you, but if you haven't already been loading up on your altcoins and all this stuff during the bear, during Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX collapse time, you know, this is either your one last chance after this summer. Like, this summer is either your last chance to make legitimate money in the bull cycle, or you're just buying the top of way more bear. Those are like the 2 options right now. So I like to think the bull market's going to continue. I like to think this isn't the top. I like to think that. This looks bullish to me. It does. I ain't going to lie. Uh-oh, treadmill slowing down. I'm putting my eggs in the bull market continues basket, all right? But here's the thing. If I'm wrong, I still made money in this bull market. If I'm right, I'm going to make way more. All right. Shout out to Data PhD. He won the giveaway. Shout out to Ayush Kumar. We have a CME gap at 60,335. Really, let's check that out. Yeah. We do have a CME gap now. Right here. Wow, look at this. Okay, my bad, guys. We actually filled that CME gap. Not on ByBit, but on the CME chart. We filled that gap and are rejecting from it right now. That's so interesting. I did not even notice that. So, on the CME chart, we had a gap at 64,260. We tapped into that, getting a little rejection here. We have another CME gap to the downside at 60,325. Let's pull a fib from low to high, and wow. So we have a CME gap on the CME chart, 60,300 right at the golden pocket. That could be a level. That is a level, guys. Keep your eyes on that level on the CME futures chart. All right, the ticker for that is, I guess it's BTC1 explanation point. All right, this is the Bitcoin futures chart. So we already have hit that. Interesting. I didn't realize that because I only had it marked out on ByBit. So yeah, we have a CME gap at the golden pocket down at 60,325, and we have a CME gap that just got filled at 64,260. You know, quite interesting. Quite interesting. All right, shout out to my man Deejberry Doughboy. Shout out to Schleim. All praise to Yeshua, my brothers. Amen. All right, shout out to Deejberry Doughboy for the super chat. All right. Let's check out Spell. Let's remove all this nonsense. I don't even know what I was looking at here. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So this little bottom here looks nice, similar to what Bitcoin's doing right now. Money flow coming up. We got a bullish div at this bottom. This bottom looks nice because we've taken the liquidity from right here. And now we're forming a nice looking bottom with money flow curving to the upside, which means we have a valid long with the invalidation below that wick, shooting for the value area high of the range. 3 to 5 risk reward. That's probably confluence with the Fibonacci golden pocket pull. Yep. So we have this as a valid setup. However, if we lose it, then the next support is going to be down here at the POC value area low, in which case this will have to be our next setup. So there's two. One, right from this area where we're at, invalidation under the wick. Number two, we wait for that high volume node at 48.25. And look, if we come down to this area here, that is very nice support. And I'd say that overall the structure on here still, it could be viewed as bullish. All right? And especially if we get to move back down to this area, we're coming back down to pretty much the lows, period. Which means we could be looking at a almost 300% gain at least just to come back to the highs if we're going to be trading this thing as a range, right? It's a 300% range. So either this happens to be a bottom here and we're holding this support resistance flip, or we lose it and we can look for a long at the lows. Those will be the two places I would be interested. Yo, shout out to CryptoFace in the chat. What's going on, CryptoFace, man? How you doing, bro? Shout out to Jason Casper is gay. He says, excuse me, why are you gay? Why you gay? Hey, Jay, why you gay? Look, I'm not gay, all right? I'm just a trans non-carbon binary emission gender studyologist, all right? There's a big difference, my friend. 2024. Actually, my technical term is I'm a trans-racial. Wait, what am I? I'm a transgender, trans-racial, lesbian incel. Is what I am. That's my full title. All right. Let's see. All right, CryptoFace is longing and praying. All right. Okay. Yeah, look, I'm long too, man. I'm hoping that we get a little bit of a I'm hoping that this was a fake out to the downside, man. We'll have to see, because if we start to come down from here, I'm gonna start to really question my bullishness, my macro bullishness. I'll have to be honest. The monthly bearish divs. Oh, man. Not looking so great. But as long as we're holding this support, man, you know, as long as we're holding support, let's do it. Let's do it. Transracial unsubbing. Hey, you know what? This right here, King Andrew, he's unsubbing because I'm transracial. Dude is the most racist guy I've ever met in my life. All right, you obviously hate black people because you're unsubbing from a transracial, transgendered, trans incel lesbians channel. I cannot believe in 2024 we still have this filth of a mentality. All right, you guys are absolutely crazy, despicable. You should go back to the olden days. All right. Shout out to Bloodstream 2010. 10,000 lady coin charting, massive bullish div. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, let's check out 10,000 lady coin. Is that, wait, what's the ticker for this? It doesn't have 10,000 in it, does it? Yeah, here we go. All right, here we go. What, you're looking at this thing? This is some kind of crazy Shite coin, huh? And you're looking at the bullish divs on the daily. May God have mercy on you. And look, if it works out for you, you could make 200%. I don't know. I don't know, man. I hope it works out for you. I really do. Shout out to Ariel. Hi, Jason. I haven't seen my daughter for 3 years now. I'm sorry to hear that. Alright, shout out to Divine Hood. He says, Bitcoin is a lot less clear than normal because the major range val is so different on the two good exchanges to watch. On one reclaimed, the other we're still rejecting. Yeah, I'm watching the ByBit one and we're still rejecting. What about ETH? Yeah, we can take a look at ETH. Yeah, let's take a look at ETH. All right. ETH is going to follow Bitcoin no matter what. All right. ETH is going to follow Bitcoin no matter what. Only two genders. Someone says there's only two genders. What kind of backwards, twisted people are you? There's way more than two genders. It's so obvious. Just go outside. For example, I raise chickens. All right, you've got your males, your roosters, cock-a-doodle doing. You got your hens, your egg layers, and then there's a whole spectrum of other kinds of chicken. In fact, I have some chickens when they crow, cock-a-doodle, they cough up an egg. All right, and it's like a spectrum. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's check out ETH real quick. So ETH, look. We have this massive trend line going all the way back to March 2021, July 2021, kind of reclaim it. And we could even look at this as well as a massive ascending triangle that we've broken out of, right? Now, here's my view on ETH, guys. I find it, here's the thing. I find it very unlikely that the top is in for this stuff, man. I just can't face the fact that the bull market might be over. So I'm still in the bull market continues camp. All right. When we look at ETH, we go down to the daily time frame. When we pull the volume, we are bouncing right now from the POC of the range. All right, let's pull the volume here. All right. I'm sorry, we're bouncing from the value area low of the range. And we're coming up to the POC. If we can reclaim the POC, we're probably going to come back up here. Just like how Bitcoin, if Bitcoin can reclaim the value area low, because remember, Bitcoin came down below its range, right? So Bitcoin's down here trying to break into value area low. ETH is up here trying to break into POC. If Bitcoin breaks into value area low, it's going to get a big move. If ETH breaks into POC, it's probably going to get a big move. That's how I'm looking at it right now. We do have a pretty nice, on that drop, test the value area low. It's a bullish, in my opinion, recovery from that area. And it's a major support resistance flip, right? Look at this. Support, resistance, resistance, support. Looks pretty straightforward to me. Plus, we have a hidden bullish div on the daily. And when we look at the money flow on ETH, it's getting higher over time. So, because I'm looking for longs on Bitcoin, I'm also... This looks like a really, really nice impulse, back test. And this price action right here, this downward sloping channel, does she not look like she wants to just squeeze those shorts? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right, shout out to my man. Shout out to Elon Musk. Did you see money sign Matt? I'll check it out. Shout out to Rengar. He says you have a whole spectrum of people in the chat that don't get sarcasm. I know. It's funny though. You know, what did I see? I saw a sign. It was the most hilarious sign I ever saw in my life. In the fall. It was a wood stove company that is in town. And the sign outside, it was September, surrounded by all these Dunkin' Donutses and all these other places that have pumpkin this and pumpkin that in stock now. And the stove company said, pumpkin spice wood stoves in stock now. And I'm like, that is a funny sign, but I wonder how many calls they get from people that don't understand it's just a joke. Probably a lot. All right, so we're going to be looking at what? Money sign... Money sign Matt. I don't see it. USDT? I don't see. Matt? Is there only one T? Is there no money sign? I don't see it, man, so I apologize, but I do not see that asset here. You know what I'm saying? What makes me think the bull cycle might be over? Okay, so the main thing that makes me think the bull cycle could be over is this. We have the bearish div on the monthly money flow and momentum confirmed, right? And money flow getting lower. All right, very similar to last time, right? So that's the scary elephant in the room right now. That's the scary elephant in the room. Now, I can come up with many reasons why the bull market's not over, but this is very scary stuff on the chart right here, guys. It really is. It really is. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm still living life as if the bull market's not over, guys. I still am. All right. It's on base. I don't even know what that means, Elon Musk. How do I even check that out? Is it base? I don't even know what that means, bro. Like, you know, I don't even know. I'm not a crypto guy, right? I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I don't see it here. So I'm so sorry, man. I feel like I owe you back for the super chat. All right. It's an on-chain coin on base network. All right, I don't know how to look at that. Dex screener? Okay. I'm sorry. This is beyond my pay grade here. I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry, Elon Musk. Yeah, I'll legit send you back your. I'll legit send you back your super chat, bro. Not even joking. I will send you back your super chat. Thank you for your super chat, man. Appreciate it. All right. The yen is falling apart, says some people. I've heard stuff like that. I've heard stuff like that. Okay, well. Let's see here. It's 1:17 my time. I've got a lot of stuff to do. Guys, I'm going to call it a stream. May God bless you all in Jesus' name. Even if you are not religious, may the Lord bless you and protect you and shine light upon you and have grace upon you and turn his face towards you and give you wholeness. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell, guys. I'll be back, Lord willing, later this week. Peace, guys.